Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 13, Episode 10, Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board. Well guys, we are still in the beautiful tattoo parlor having a not so beautiful conversation. At this point, Sonia, Ramona, and Luann have all gotten up and walked away. Luann, I think, went to the restroom, and Sonia and Ramona are at the bar having a conversation. Ramona says, I know there are issues out there, but if I think about them all the time, and Sonia said, you'll have a breakdown. Yeah, I'll have a breakdown. I mean, that's not to say I don't feel, Sonia, the pain of other people. Yeah, the pain of other people. I feel like those two are on a game show. Guess what I'm trying to say? Meanwhile, back where everyone was sitting, it's just Ebony, Leah, and Bershan. Both Leah and Bershan are kind of trying to get Ebony to change up her strategy a little bit, at least as it pertains to Ramona. Bershan says to her, know your audience. And Ebony goes, I do. Believe me, I worked at Fox News for 5 years. I've known a million Ramonas. And Bershan said, do you think you're going to change her? Ebony says, I'm not trying to change her. But she does not get to say, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about boys. Over by the bar, Sonia is trying to tell Ramona that she feels personally energized by what Ebony is bringing, her way of trying to educate people. Well, Ramona is not energized by Ebony, and she just wanted to hear about the matchmaker. Side note, am I the only one who thinks Ramona and Luann are going to be very disappointed? Because there's not really a big story to tell about the matchmaker. She knows some rich men in New York who are single. She's going to set Sonia up on a date with a few of them and see if sparks fly. Now Luann walks up to the two of them, just as Sonia is saying, I wanted to tell you that it wasn't about the movement. Luann, oh great. So how did it go? Did she find you a man? Sonia goes, no. Luann, we're trying to get to the bottom of the matchmaker story. There's nothing to get to the bottom of. So Luann heads back to the others, and Sonia tells Ramona, Luann didn't really want to know how it went with the matchmaker. She just wants to know if the matchmaker has anybody for her. I mean, she's with Garth, but he's just a tool for her. Just a tool. So everyone heads to the dinner table now. And before they get to eat, Ebony announces that she has something to say to everyone. And Leah already knows. And before she gets anything out, Leah bursts into tears. And Ebony has to try and comfort her. And Ramona goes, is this the right time to talk about it? Yeah, I'd be wondering the same thing. So I feel so bad for Leah because what Ebony is trying to tell the ladies is that she got a call that morning and her grandmother passed away. And I know it feels like, Leah is a mess and she's like pulling the focus from Ebony. Like even when she starts crying and the others are like, is it okay? What's wrong with her? Should we not talk about it? And Leah could barely get the words out and she's like, it's not about me. It's about her, I feel bad for Leah because I think she really just cannot contain her own grief. It had only been a couple weeks since she lost her grandmother. And I don't think she's being selfish and trying to pull focus from Ebony. She wouldn't do that. It's just unfortunate that both of the girls lost their grandmothers. And she is apologizing, by the way. She's like, I'm so sorry. This is not about me right now. But she is just a complete mess. Now everyone is up on their feet hugging Ebony and Leah. And, it's a moment. For just this brief moment, all of them are putting aside all their differences and, they're just daughters and granddaughters and mothers, just women comforting each other, it's kind of sweet. So everyone settles back into their seats and they start eating and Ebony said that she's going to get a tattoo. Ramona's like, you're very emotional tonight. Maybe you shouldn't do it. And Leah goes, no, this is a good time. Ebony wants to get Katie on her wrist to honor her grandmother. Ramona wants her to wait a week. Because, it's Ebony's first tattoo. I think maybe that's what Ramona's thinking. And also Ramona doesn't want to deface her body. Bershan's like, no, let her do it. She wanted to do it. So they head over to get their tattoos. Yeah. Hey, side note, guess what? The mildly frightening twins are the tattoo artists. Sonia tells Ramona that she's not going to get one because she does not want to defame her body. Luann is, considering it, but then she decides that, just Leah and Ebony should go. She'll sit this one out because I don't really even know what I want yet. Anyway, Leah is doing the same thing. She's getting her grandmother's name on her hand right here. Oh, okay, Sonia just got drunk. Like right now, flip the switch. It is so weird how it happens with her. She's like sober and then bam. Now she's telling Ramona, our daughters would never get tattoos. And Bershawn is standing there and she goes, are you putting a judgment on it? Sonia, yes. You're saying judgment like, oh, it's déclassé or you're lower than me. I'm not saying that. Bershawn, well, I didn't say it. It came out of your mouth, not mine, okay? Sonia now looks at Bershawn. Don't you put that on me. Bershawn goes, I'm not putting it on you. I'm just saying what you said. Sonia, I didn't say that. You said, am I judging a tattoo? And Bershawn goes, yeah, and you said yes, like just a second ago. Sonia, I said no. Roll footage. No, she said yes. Ramona goes, she was just saying like some people would say that. And Sonia goes, I took it back. And Bershawn goes, she said yes, and now she's saying she's taking it back. Sonia, f*** you, Bershawn. And Bershawn's like, f*** you too. Then Sonia goes, I'm saying if my daughter did a tattoo, I would say, okay, but I don't like her defaming her skin. Meanwhile, Luann wants to watch because she's never seen anyone get a tattoo before. That feels very hard for me to believe because I feel like Luann's, lived a little bit in her day. I'm surprised she doesn't have one herself, but I'm really surprised she's never seen it done before. So Leah is showing her where she's going to get her grandmother's name on her right hand, and she said, oh my God, I used to want to get married so bad that I always kept my left hand free of any kind of tattoos for my wedding ring. Now Ramona comes into the little booth where Ebony is just to make sure she really wants to do it. Are you sure? I think you should wait 10 days. And Leah can hear her because Leah's just in the next one over and she goes, Ramona, if you're not going to be supportive, get out. Side note, Ramona's mask is riding up her face. I've never seen that happen before. I don't even know why, but it's like very high right now. I feel like pretty soon it's going to be like a headband. Okay, so Leah is done first, and it's pretty. Her grandmother's name was Marie. It's very delicate, very precise, thin lines. I like that. Side note, my daughter, after seeing this episode, was thinking about getting my mom's name on her hand. She goes, I really like how Leah's looked. And I said, it's funny because I was thinking the same thing about getting my mom's name on somewhere. I don't have any tattoos, but, I was thinking about that as well to honor my mom. And her name is Violet. And then I was thinking, what if I just got a little Violet tattoo somewhere on my wrist or hand or something, That might be cute. But I think my daughter she has other tattoos, and I think she's really thinking about getting my mom's name. I'm trying to see if I can find my mom's name in her handwriting, because I'm not sure if that's what Leah and Ebony did, if that's their grandmother's name in the grandmother's handwriting or not. But yeah, I don't know. Just a thought. Okay, so for Ebony, she is in a lot of pain. And again, this is her very first tattoo, but also I would think that the inside of your wrist would be a sensitive spot, like more sensitive than like this part of your hand, don't you think? I don't know, because like all your tendons and stuff are there. So Ramona is holding her hand and, helping to distract her. Okay, so Ebony's is done. Hers is very delicate too. Her grandmother's name is Katie. I don't know if I said that, but Ebony had hers done with white ink, and that freaks me out a little bit because actually you can't see it as like white writing. It just looks like she was branded. You know what I mean? It just looks like raised. That kind of creeps me out a little bit. It reminds me of that Nexium guy. Did you guys watch The Vow? I think it was on HBO. I can't remember. That was freaky. All the girls in this cult, they had to get branded, and they thought it was some I can't remember what it was. They thought it was some symbol that was significant to like their group, this group of women within the whole cult. And it turned out that if you looked at the symbol sideways, it was the leader's initials, Keith Raniere. It was a KR. Oh God, it was like just so creepy. It was a good documentary though. Side note, this twins sweater is so cool. It's got like the buttons up the side and they're open at the bottom. I love it. Good job, twin. Okay, it is the next morning now and Luann is chanting in her room. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. I think it's scaring the ghosts. Her voice is so low, it sounds like a foghorn. And she's rocking back and forth. If I were haunting that room, I would, like, move on. Ramona and Sonia are in bed together as per usual. They're talking about how Sonia ate when they got home because she didn't have much at the dinner. I don't know. And Bershan is in her room reciting her daily affirmations. Bershan, you are beautiful. Bershan, you are intelligent. Stuff like that. And Ebony and Leah are each getting their hair and makeup done by their glam person in their respective rooms. Ramona calls Leah to see what the plan is for the day. And I guess she's like talking a mile a minute because Bravo is showing what Ramona is saying. It looks like a crawl across the bottom of the screen, like that just rapid fire, all these words coming out of Ramona's mouth. And when they hang up, Ebony said, "Oh God, she gave me a headache." So she calls Sonia now, not knowing that Sonia is in Ramona's room. And Leah goes, "Oh my God, Ramona just called me." And I was giving her like the breakdown of the day. And she just gave me a splitting headache. And you just hear, "Really? I'm right here, bitch." Leah is dying laughing. Next, we see Ebony go to Bershan's room. And she tells Ebony that, you know, last night was pretty rough. And she said, "You know, we don't need like the Malcolm X speech every minute." And Ebony goes, "Well, maybe they do need it." In Bershan's confessional, she said, "I think Ebony wants to be bold and in your face, but I don't think it's going to work. They don't want a pastor and a preacher. They want a friend." Anyway, Ebony does say, "You know, I hear you. I can imagine that if I'm a white lady at a particular age in life and I'm in my affluent elite bubble, I'd be thinking this chick is probably pretty annoying at this point. I get it. And now that it's been said, we can go kiki." And Bershan said, "Do you really feel like you can kiki?" And Ebony goes, "Well, I'm not saying it won't come up again, but I can kiki today." So Sonia and Ramona are having a conversation in Ramona's room. And Sonia, again, is just trying to get Ramona to listen. But, you know, she doesn't really want to. And so she gets distracted by Sonia's eyebrows. And she said, "They're not the same." And Sonia goes, "Well, that's how I want them. They're not supposed to be exactly the same. Yours are exactly the same, like a doll." Ramona, "Because I made them the same." Sonia, "That's what the drag queens do." Ramona goes, "Now you're saying I'm a drag queen?" Sonia, "You look a little like Luann right now." Oh my God. So now all the ladies meet down in the lobby and they are headed out for a Pioneer Village tour. This is going to be great. All right, so now they get there. And side note, do you think those people in the background are filming the Pioneer Village or a sighting of the Real Housewives from New York City? I don't know which is more exciting, Pioneer Village or this season of RHONY. All right, so Pioneer Daniel welcomes the ladies and says, "First, we would like you to dress in the garb of the day." And everyone looks at those clothes, and right away, Sonia and Ramona are shaking their heads, "No, nope. No, thank you. Not putting that stuff on." I mean, to be fair, everyone looks like they're freezing cold anyway in their fur coats and their parkas. I don't think they really want to put on a wool cloak, you know? Leah does it because it's her trip, and she's like, "How could I not?" And Sonia also does it. Leah does ask Bershan and Ebony if they mind that she dresses up as an oppressor. And for Sonia, she's like, "You know, it doesn't bother me. She comes from a very old American family. Probably her ancestors were on the Mayflower, so she's pretty fine with it. Luann and Ramona are heading to the toilets, and they pass by this woman in colonial dress. She's like sweeping the front porch of her little log home. I don't know if it was a log home, a little wooden home. I don't know. And she said, "Good day, good wives," under his eye. That's kind of what it reminded me of. And so they walk past, say hi, and then Luann turns back and she goes, "Did you say good day, good wives?" Oh, thank you. We were good wives. I'm sure you're a good wife too. I mean, look at that. You're sweeping. Luann. Oh, then we move on to look at a wigwam. Luann gets a selfie there, pulls her coat down over her shoulder, gets it just right. Now Sonia is bending Bershon's ear about, everything that Sonia talks about rapid fire. The townhouse, how she feels ready to move on. And Ebony and Leah walk past and they hear what's happening. So now the two of them are whispering how, she can't let go of the past or the Morgan name. Now Sonia has moved on to how Ramona and I discovered that it was my water pill that was making me act so loopy. I was getting really drunk on just like all I would have was the welcome drink. Leah, oh my God, she's talking about the water pill now. Ebony goes, "It's the water pill, it's the bankruptcy, it's the divorce, it's the townhouse." And Leah goes, "It's everything but the alcohol. Oh, don't blame the booze." And, that's all we saw of the Pioneer Village. Next, we have a getting ready montage. It's the evening. Ladies are getting dressed for dinner, I guess. And guys, I would love to have not seen this next scene. And as much as I try, I can't unsee it. So I will spare you from the visual. I will not post a screenshot of it, but I will describe it because why should I suffer alone? Sonia comes into Ramona's room and she's like, "Oh, you look great." Ramona's finishing up putting earrings in and stuff. And Sonia said, "I have to pee." So she goes into the bathroom and sees that there is poop on the floor that Sonia has stepped in and is now tracking out onto the carpet of that room. In her confessional, Sonia said, "Ramona needs to know her limitations and put a cork in it. I do. That's why I wear a diaper when needed." Of course, a flashback to Cartagena and Sonia with that huge diaper sticking out of the top of her jeans. Anyway, like I said, Sonia had stepped in it, and now Ramona, I think, is embarrassed. She's at least embarrassed enough to be trying to lie about it. She goes, "Stop it. I just spilled some makeup." Oh, honey, that was not makeup. So she goes into the bathroom and closes the door behind her. Sonia wants a plague mask. She's laughing so hard that she pees her pants, shows us that it's on the bottom of her shoes. In Sonia's confessional, she's like, "Ebony and I had high hopes for this trip." And then we flash back to when they were on that bus going to see the matchmaker. And they're chanting, "No shit in Salem, no shit in Salem." Sonia goes, "We couldn't even get through 2 days. She's a poop machine." Side note, I don't really want to dwell on this, but what happened in there? How do you miss the toilet? And then how do you not see that you missed the toilet? And I'm sorry, but the whole time you're in there putting your makeup on, how did you not smell that you missed the toilet? Again, what happened in there? Okay, well, I hope you guys haven't lost your appetite because we're heading over to an Italian restaurant. It's just across the street or down the block because they all walk there. They sit down. The owner and Luann have a little conversation in Italian. They give their drink order. Sonia is sitting across from Bershon and she's jabbering away again. I don't drink red wine. I usually only drink clear spirits. And even then I only have like a couple. And then I'm done. Leah says the last time she had wine, she threw up everywhere. Luann, "Oh, wow, what a great story." Ebony says that she had a bad experience with Bloody Marys when she was back in law school, and so she hasn't had any of those since. And then Bershon said, "I gotta tell you, this group is a little boring." And she's laughing. She goes, "Sorry, I had to say it." Luann, "We're boring?" And she goes, I just think you're acting like a bunch of grandmas. Ramona said you're so much fun. Side note, Luann is wearing those Chanel earrings that Dorit had a few seasons ago, and I'm sure they looked perfect when she put them on in the mirror, because now to the rest of us, they say Nell Shah. So the ladies are pretty offended. Luann shows her where the fucking door is. And Bershan goes, no, I don't need to go. I'm here. Ramona has invited me. I'm gonna stay. Ebony, aren't you having a good time? Luann, no, she's not having a good time. I'm a fucking grandmother. Give me a break. Well, you guys know that you are all old enough to be grandmothers, right? Ramona just thinks that she and Bershan have more fun when they're alone together, I guess. Ebony's like, I'm sorry, but my grandmother just died 48 hours ago. And hers died 2 weeks ago. Bershan goes, I'm not trying to offend anyone. Luann, well, you did. And Ebony goes, it sounds like Ramona sold you a false bill of goods. In Bershan's confessional, she said, I did not mean to rub people the wrong way. My intention was just to change the mood. Like, you know, come on, is this a girls' trip or not? Ebony says to her, Ramona set you up. She didn't set her up. Why? Because you are the most boring women in the world and Ramona lied? I mean, you know. Bershan goes, all I'm saying is I'm really going through a lot. And Ebony goes, well, let's talk about it. Oh, well, sure. That sounds fun. Let's talk about someone else's depressing problems. I'm with Bershan on this one. Bershan said, okay, well, I'm suing a lot of people. I've got a lot of lawsuits. I'm suing the state. I have like a lot of businesses. Ramona, like Sonia. Sonia, I'm not suing anybody. I got sued. So Bershan is a cancer survivor. She's fighting for her eggs with her divorce attorney. In Luann's confessional, she said, I believe she may have a ton of lawsuits and she's fighting for her eggs, but that doesn't mean she can come in here and scramble ours. Trying out new material, are ya? Sonia, you said we were boring. Now you want to talk about your issues? And Ebony goes, I asked her. And Bershan goes, oh, because you're all, and nobody can get to know you. Sonia, now you're insulting me and her. You called us boring. Now you want to talk about Luann. Your boring eggs. Sonia goes off and Bershan. They're fighting back and forth. We get more of Bershan imitating Sonia. Every time you talk, twerk, twerk, twerk. You always want to be a fucking clown. Everyone looks shocked at that. And Leah goes, I don't know if you know Sonia well enough to say that. Luann, how dare you talk to her like that? Or any of us. Who the hell do you think you are? Bershan, I'm being honest. Ramona, she's my friend. They can't believe that Ramona is taking Bershan's side over Sonia. Luann tells her her problem is that she bores herself. And Sonia's like, we're not here to entertain you. Now the server comes to the table. Do you want to hear about our specials or, is this a bad time? In Ramona's confessional, she said, I don't know what Bershan is doing right now. She was never like this with me. She was always embracing and funny. This isn't funny. So everyone orders. Sonia tells the waitress that she needs to eat before she drinks because otherwise I might start acting like a clown, which is entertaining and fun, but not for Bershan. So Ramona offers to dance on a table and Luann's like, there's one over there. And off she goes. Leah, of all people, is like, please be careful. And God bless her, Ramona Singer, 64 years young, climbs up on that table in high-heeled boots, and she is boogieing her butt off. So they're eating now, but they really won't let Bershan off the hook, even though Bershan's like long past it now. Bershan goes, Leah, you said the smartest thing today. And Sonia's like, you turned the conversation to those four. What, do you not want to be with me? I don't know why she said that because she's sitting directly across from Bershan and then the other four, I don't know, I guess because Bershan always turns to the table. Maybe Sonia felt like she was purposely trying to not look at her. I didn't quite understand that. Bershan's like, I'm inclusive. Leah goes, wait, she said I said the smartest thing today. Let her finish. And Bershan goes, can I give her props? You guys have been dissing Leah since I met her. So Leah's like, wow, they diss me? Luann, who's been dissing her? Bershan goes, everyone. No one got it? Okay, I'll just be quiet then. So Leah, of course, presses her. And Bershawn goes, well, who do you think? Leah goes, I'm not a mind reader, so just tell me. Bershawn goes, let me just say it like this, because I've probably had too much to drink. Sonia, oh, clown. Good one, Sonia. Bershawn, calm down. You're the clown show. Luann, don't call her a clown. And Leah goes, okay, Bershawn, now you're starting trouble, so just spit it out. In her confessional, Leah said, Bershawn is a stir. She's just lighting a match and throwing it into a straw building. I don't know, a wooden building? Something like that. So Bershawn said, I have heard throughout this weekend little jabs about you. Bershawn says she doesn't want to throw people under the bus. Leah said, there's so much bullshit going on right now. She's out and she gets up to leave. She's like, I'm not sitting at a table with someone who's starting. You're not being honest. You put yourself in a bad position, Bershawn, because you came at me and now you're not going to finish it. Bershawn, okay, Ramona didn't go deep, but she said a little bit that maybe she might not connect with you a lot. Oh, God. I mean, that was a lot of backpedaling in that sentence. So Leah's like, I'm out of here. She leaves, and Luann, Sonia, and Ebony follow her. They leave with her. In Ramona's confessional, she said, I don't blame the girls for leaving. I would leave too, but I'm the one that brought her here, so I'm stuck with her. Yeah, plus you're the one she named. Then Sonia's like, well, I'll stay for Ramona. Bershawn, calm down, Sonia. Look, I like you. You don't have to do all the dramatics. Now Sonia and Ramona are getting their coats on. Sonia's like, you're rude. I don't know how you're a life coach. In her confessional, Sonia's like, who takes advice from this woman? Well, everyone's outside right now. The first three girls to leave are further along, and then we've got Sonia, Ramona, and Bershawn. Sonia and Ramona are yelling at Bershawn because Ramona's like, why did you say that? I didn't say that about Leah. You need to apologize. You need to say I didn't say that. Then Sonia gets right in her face and tells her, you're divisive. Sonia goes back into the restaurant, gets Ramona's wine glass, and hands it to her. They're out on the street. But Ramona's too busy, like, berating Bershawn that she's just holding the glass. And now Sonia's next to her, grabs her hand, and tips the wine into her own mouth. The one, like, very odd thing about that is Sonia's wearing a mask. So she is drinking the wine through her mask. Those darn water pills. All right, so Leah, Luann, and Ebony are back at the hotel, and they're downstairs in the library, which is, I guess, like a bar. It's just like kind of loungy with couches and stuff, and there is someone that comes by to take your drink order. Meanwhile, Bershawn, Ramona, and Sonia are still walking back when Ramona remembers that she left her scarf back in the restaurant. So she grabs Sonia, come back with me. And they head back to the restaurant, and Bershawn heads to the library. She walks in and Leah's like, well, here's the troublemaker. Bershawn, I had too much to drink. And Leah's like, no, you can't use that as an excuse. Bershawn says, look, I like you a lot, Leah. I'm not a girl who talks behind your back. And Ebony goes, well, who is talking behind her back other than Ramona? And Bershawn goes, I'm talking about Ramona. Okay, you said everyone, but now it's just Ramona. Meanwhile, this is what Sonia and Ramona are up to. Yep. Sonia's on the floor of the elevator. A woman walks in. Hello, ladies. Ladies? Sonia is on all fours in the hotel elevator. Lady would not be my first choice of what to call her. Oh, geez. I was hoping those two were headed back to their room. No. Here they come into the library. Ramona comes and sits on Leah's lap and is all like, apologetic. She's got her wine glass like an inch from Leah's face, which feels a little insensitive, but whatever. Kisses Leah on the head. I mean, she is definitely trying to dispel anything that Bershawn has said. Now we've got like two conversations happening at the same time. Bershawn, Ebony, Luann, and Leah, Ramona, and Sonia jumping into either conversation back and forth. Leah tells Ramona that she thought they made progress when they were in the Hamptons. And hearing that she was talking behind her back now really hurt her. Leah goes, you made all those really good points about my grandmother that I never even thought of. About how I get that like never-ending love from her, that I didn't get from my own mother or Rob. Flashback to Ramona. This was at Luann's house during that painting party. We see Ramona whispering and like rocking back and forth. She loved you more than your mommy, more than Rob. Oh yeah, that was so comforting. Side note, why are we being deprived of Rob this season? No wonder it's so bad. Rob probably sensed this and he's distancing himself, but we have not even gotten a sighting. That's unfortunate. So Ramona's like, I know, and I got mad at Bershawn. Meanwhile, the other conversation, Bershawn has no remorse. And I'm sorry, I think it's kind of hilarious. Bershawn says to Sonia, you were twerking every night. Sonia now stands up and she goes, I'm not twerking every night. I'm not a hoe. Ebony, she's not a hoe. Bershawn, I didn't call you a hoe. Sonia, you said I was a clown. Whoa. Bershawn, you do that. So while Ramona and Leah make up, things are getting loud with Sonia. Again, Sonia up on her feet. Don't give me one more time. I'll give you one more time. At this point, as near as I can tell, Sonia is now morphed into like one of her cabaret-esque routines. There's a lot of gyrating, and Bershawn's like, Sonia, okay, walk away, bitch. Ramona, again in her confession cam, and she's like, I don't know what Bershawn is doing. I just put a fire out, and now she's torching the whole room. If you watch this with the sound off, you would now think that Sonia and Bershawn were doing like a weird dance together. But no, they're just both up on their feet imitating the clown move. I'm sorry. I don't know any clowns that go, whoa. You know, this is why it's making me laugh. I mean, honestly, if I don't laugh at that, the whole thing is just very sad. Because I feel like Bershawn is egging on a woman who has an alcohol problem. She's like telling her, use your brain. And it feels uncomfortable. I think that's why the others are getting very protective of Sonia, because it just feels a little like a bully and somebody who can't really defend themselves. Now everyone's kind of up on their feet, and Sonia goes, I could be quiet and just let her hang herself. Luann and Ebony are both like, yeah, maybe you should try that approach. Just be quiet. Sonia, though, is just off the rails, and she's up on her feet again. She's loud. She's repeating Bershawn's words. Use your brain, bitch. And then in the middle of this, like, screaming, the volume gets lower and lower, and the screen turns dark, and we see to be continued. I don't want to continue this, though. God. Anyway. That's it for me. I hope you guys liked my recap of this episode. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. As always, leave a comment. I love to know what you guys are thinking, and I will be back next week for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York City.